Good day. I am Denzel Abarca, and I will present Systems Thinking and Policymaking Transformative Outcomes in Public Education. This analysis is grounded in the evidence-based research and course materials from EDS 170. Why this topic matters. Education systems continue to face persistent challenges, low learning outcomes, inequality, reform fatigue, and fragmented policies. Traditional policy models often treat problems as isolated issues, focusing on single interventions rather than structural relationships, as explained by McQuire and Berkland. However, education outcomes are shaped by multiple interacting factors. Systems thinking provides a structured way to understand this complexity and design coherent reform. Instead of asking what programs to add, it asks how the system itself produces current results. With that foundation, it is important to clarify what systems thinking means. What is systems thinking? Meadows in 2008 defines a system as a set of things interconnected in such a way that they produce their own pattern of behaviors over time. This definition shifts our attention from events to patterns. In education, outcomes emerge from interactions among governance structures, teachers and leaders, incentives, information flows, and community actors. Systems thinking focuses on relationships and feedback loop rather than linear cause and effect. This matters because complex social problems require systemic analysis, and policy decisions shape long term economic and social structures. Without a system lens, reforms may create unintended consequences. Understanding the concept leads naturally to how it applied in education policy. Now, the RISE system framework explains that education system operate through four accountability relationships: politic, compact, management, and voice and choice, according to Spivak in 2021. It also identifies five design features: delegation, finance, information, and support and motivation. The central idea is alignment. When these elements are misaligned, reforms fail even in funding increases. Fuller and Kim in 2022 note that systems analysis helps identify organizational levers that lift educational quality. Research also shows that training in systems thinking strengthens policy reasoning capacity. These findings reinforce the need for systemic reform. From framework to action, should change begin? Systems thinking shifts attention from isolated programs to structural change. Meadows explains that changing systems goals produces deeper transformation than increasing inputs. In education, redefining purpose towards meaningful learning reshapes incentives and accountability. Spivak added that teacher training alone does not improve outcomes when incentives and management remain misaligned. Some research argue that systems thinking addresses root causes rather than surface symptoms. High level include aligning incentives with learning goals, strengthening information flows, building institutional capacity, creating adaptive feedback mechanisms. When these elements reinforce one another, transformation becomes sustainable. When systems are coherent and aligned, policy implementation becomes consistent. Resources are allocated strategically, accountability becomes meaningful, and learning outcomes improve sustainably. Science emphasizes that systemic reform supports long-term structural improvement rather than a short-term compliance. As an educator, our role is to interpret policy through a systems lens, identify misalignments in practice, and use evidence to inform decisions. Educators, therefore, contribute not only through instruction, but through informed engagement with policy structures. Thank you so much for watching.